Hey gang, Kelvin here from the Real Mensters. Today we are going to be doing a tier list for all of the alt art cards in Special Booster 1.0. And when I say that, I'm just talking about the stuff you can actually get from 1.0 product. So the stuff in the packs, in the box toppers, and in the dash packs. We're excluding anything from additional releases such as the Tamer Party Pack or the Tamer's Evolution boxes at this time. I might do those in a later tier list, but for right now, we're just looking at 1.0 product. Part of the reason for that is because I just want to evaluate stuff that most people can actually get their hands on right now. But it's also because it gets a little confusing about what should be included where when you've got the starter decks. You know, do those count as part of 1.0 or are they their own thing? And you've got new alts being released. You have alts that we don't have in the US yet, like the Tamer Cup Omnimon. And so just because of that, I thought it would be simpler to just stick to what we can actually get in 1.0. And I'll probably do this for later sets as well. And then at some point when we have enough product that sort of doesn't really fit in a clean category, I'll go ahead and make a tier list for that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this first tier list for Release Special Booster version 1.0. So right off the bat, one thing to note is that as I am ranking these, I'm also going to be showing them on screen so that you can see what the actual physical card looks like. And the reason for this is because some of these cards look a lot better in person than they do just with the unfoil artwork on your computer screen. So I'll be showing these to you so you can sort of get an idea of what the card actually looks like. And so I'm going to be rating these based on the actual physical card, not just the picture that you have online. So do keep that in mind. Also, I will be showing you the raw unsleeved card so that there's no glare from the light that might sort of give the cards the wrong sort of look, because I did sort of notice that while I was tinkering with them before I started recording. So the last thing to consider is that I am going to be rating these based on how they look to me, not how useful they are or any other factors like that. It's just strictly aesthetics compared to their original versions and other alternate versions that exist. So we're only going to be considering those factors as I am putting these in the tier list. And so we're going to start off by going with all of the alt art tamers. I will say that I don't like these as much as the Japanese ones. I've seen video of the Japanese ones, and it seems like they have more of a brushed metal sort of look to them that I think looks really nice, while the US ones have this sort of like quasi-foil rainbow thing going on that it looks alright, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't look anywhere near as nice as the sort of brushed metal thing that the other ones have going on. So first off, we've got the red tie, and I'm going to put him in C tier. I do think that the orange sort of looks nice, but it's a bit plain. just because it's next to the red, it doesn't really pop that much. And so for that reason, I don't think he is as nice looking as maybe some of these other tamers. Next up, we have Sora, who I'm also going to put in C tier. I do like the red on red, even though I just said that I don't like how similar the red and the orange are for Tai, but I don't like it as much as the red-orange combination. I think that certain colors look better when you see them together, while others maybe don't look as good. And so to that point, I'm going to put Matt in D tier, because I don't think that the blue on blue looks quite as good as the red on red with Sora. And I don't really like this art for Matt as much. It doesn't really fit him, in my opinion. Like, he looks too happy-go-lucky, and it's not very Matt-like. That being said, Joe, I'm actually gonna put up in A tier, because I do really, really like the gray background on Joe. I think that it looks really nice with him. And I like the look of Joe here. He's got a very sort of, well, I mean, he's got the crest of reliability, but I want to say a reliable look to him. Like, he actually looks kind of cool, which is, it's an accomplishment for Joe, because he's not the coolest guy. So, next up, we're gonna go with TK, who I'm gonna go ahead and put in the B tier. Again, yellow I think is one of the colors where the yellow on yellow actually kind of works, and so I think that he fits there. I also just like the little guy. He's always been one of my favorite Digidestined, so that bumps him up for me. Kari, I really like Kari. I think that she's one of the best, if not the best ones. I think that the pink background really works for her. And like, it goes well with the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and put her in A tier. I'm going to put her ahead of Joe, just because I think that she is the best looking of the ones we've got here so far. And next, we've got Izzy. I'm not the biggest purple fan, and I don't really love how it goes with the rest of his clothing. But I do think that it goes well with the green. And so, for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put him in B tier under TK. Mimi, I'm a big fan of green. It's honestly my favorite color, and so I do like the green here. And so because of that, I'm going to go ahead and put her above Izzy. Although I still don't think she looks as good as TK. There's just something about the card that I do think looks nice, but it doesn't look as nice as TK when you look at it in person. So next up we have Black Tie. Black Tie is one that I actually really like a lot. I think that the orange works a lot better with the black than it does with the red. And so I think that I am going to rank him above Mimi, but below TK. Because again, I still really like TK. And last, we've got the Purple Matte, which I also really like. Again, I think the blue goes better with the purple background than it does with the blue on the blue matte. and I think that the pose looks a lot better for matte. It's a much more matte-like pose. And so I'm actually going to put it above Tai in the B tier. And so with the tamers out of the way, let's get into Agumon and Gabumon. Agumon, honestly, I really like both of these. I like the sort of blurred art style going on. I think that they both look really good, and I think they're like just massive improvements over the original versions. Like the thing about the tamers is, yeah, they all look nice, but they don't look. They're the same arts as the original ones. Just it's a full art version. But these just add so much to the cards, especially Gabumon's, because Gabumon's just sort of in the shadows in the original card, and here it's this like really awesome action shot. But so for Agumon, I'm gonna put him in S tier, and I'm gonna put Gabumon also in S, but above him. And the other thing that I do want to point out, because I actually only just noticed this when I was looking at the cards the first time, but you can see that they're actually coming out of the original Digivices, those square ones that sort of look like a monster cage. And the reason I give the edge to Gabumon is because you can see the Digivice a little better than you can with Agumon. And so I do think that it looks a little better. Also, personally, I like blue a little better than I like red. I do like the color red, but I just think blue looks better a lot of the time. And this is definitely one of those situations. And so next, we've got War Greymon. So the thing about this War Greymon is when I first saw it, I didn't really like it because I'm not really into the sort of ultra realistic style. I don't think it looks great for Digimon. But it did sort of grow on me after I played with it for a bit. Just because I always play with my alt cards. And so when I play with them, it did grow on me a little bit. But that being said, I'm still not the biggest fan of this art style. So I'm still going to have to put it in D tier. And next we have Gallantmon. This one's a tough one for me. I really like these circuit board style ones. Like, they just look really cool, and I really like Gallantmon. But my issue with this one is just that you can't see enough of him. Like, it's so zoomed in on him that you can't see, you can't really fully see his lance or his shield. And I do feel like that sort of detracts from the card a little bit. But I do just love these circuit board ones so much that I'd still say that he goes at the top of B tier. If we could see the lance a little better and the shield a little better, I'd probably bump him up to at least A tier, if not higher. Next we have Metal Garurumon, which, honestly, I don't know exactly how to describe my feelings for this card. It looks alright. Like, I like the missiles and everything. Like, it looks good, but it's not like it is a significant improvement from the original version. So, for that reason, I'm gonna put it in C tier because I think it's just sort of middle of the road. I think it's better than what Sora's got going on, but not as good as what Tai's got going on. Metal Siegramon, on the other hand, is one of the ones that I really like. One, because I really like this, the circuit board style. But two, and this is important to me, it's an opportunity to upgrade the rarity of a card. Since the original version's just a rare, having this one as a foil is really nice. And so that's a big deal to me. And so for that reason, I'm going to put it in A tier above the two Tamers. And I will also say that the blue circuitry looks pretty good. So that's another big point in its favor for me. And so next we have Leopardmon. This one, I mean, it's super easy for me. It's the top of the S tier for the moment, at least. Like, it just looks so good, even though it's such a bad card. He looks so cool in this picture. He's just got this really, like, I don't know how to describe him other than, like, just a baller, you know? He's just so cool, and the art is so good, and I really like these, like, storybook style alts that they did in BT3. But in particular, I really like Leopardmon, so we're putting him at the top of S tier. Next is Magna Angemon. I really like the look of this Magna Angemon. He looks super cool. It's just like, it's hard to describe. Again, it's sort of like Leopardmon. He's got a really cool sort of confident air to him that really makes me like the way he looks. Like, it gives off this sort of I'm better than you personality, and I really like that. And so for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and put him into the A tier. I don't think that he looks as good as like some of the circuit ones or the storybook ones, but he does look really cool. But I also, speaking of which, we've got Kentaurismon, who I think looks a little bit cooler than him. So he's also gonna go into A tier. I don't like him as much as some of the other storybook ones. That's not to say that I don't like him, because I definitely do, but I just think that there are some better ones, and so that's why I rank him lower than like Leopardmon and even Metal Siegramon. But I think he looks really cool. I really like what's going on with the arrows in the background, and so I think that a spot in A tier is well deserved. Rosemon sort of has the same problem for me as War Greymon, where she just doesn't the art style doesn't do a lot for me. So I'm putting her in D tier. And another issue I have is like, so the green pink swirl, it's just kind of muted because of, I think it's partially because of the way these ultra realistic ones are, where they're all kind of muted in the background and not really they don't pop as much as they could. I think that if this were in a more cartoony style, it probably would have looked a lot better, but as it stands right here, I think that it doesn't look that great. And so I don't really think that it's worth ranking any higher. On the other hand, Puppetmon, I think, looks really awesome. I think that the original version of Puppetmon actually looks pretty cool. He's got that sort of creepy look to him, but he is just a rare, and so I really like that he was given a foil version, and I think the foil version looks really good. I think the green line work looks really good. Like I said, green's one of my favorite colors. And so, for those reasons, I'm putting him at the top of A tier. I think that if I disliked the original art more, that I'd probably put him as an S tier, just because of the improvement there. But since I still like the original, I'm less inclined to bump him up any further than this. Next we have Black War Greymon. Honestly, I don't like the circuitry on the black Digimon as much. It doesn't pop as much, which is unfortunate because I think that the circuits on there are what really sells them, and I just don't think that it really works as much on War Greymon, which is unfortunate because I do like the art and I do think that it's overall a really good image of him. It's just that sort of holding it back, and so for that reason I'm going to put him down at the bottom of B tier for right now. Machinedramon, again, sort of same issue, but the difference is I kind of like the original art of War Greymon. I really don't care for the original art of Machinedramon, and I actually really like this rendition of Machinedramon. Like, even though I like the way War Greymon looks, I like the way Machinedramon looks a lot more, and so I'm going to put him a lot higher. We're going to put him down at the bottom of A tier. Piedmon. Piedmon's a tough one because I do really like him. I like the way that all of his colors look on here. They're all very vibrant. The purple, honestly, the purple chips, they look all right, but they're nothing too special. I think they still look better than the black ones. They definitely pop more, but I do also like the original version of Piedmon, with all the cards around him and stuff. I think that he looks kind of cool there, and so for that reason, I'm gonna put him in A, but I'm gonna put him below Machinedramon. Metal Garurumon, I actually really do like the art on him, and like I said, I like the purple circuitry better than the black circuitry. But with that being said, one issue I have is how much open space there is on his card compared to a lot of these other ones where they take up more space. And I feel like he doesn't take up enough space here. And so it sort of brings the card down a little for me. So I'm putting it at the bottom of B tier. Still a good card, but it could look better. Lilithmon. It's probably going to be sacrilege to say this, but I don't think that she is the best alt art. I think she's a really good alt art. She's absolutely beautiful, but I think that honestly Leopardmon still looks better than her. And honestly, I think that even Gabumon looks better than her. So I am going to put her in S tier because I do think she looks awesome, but I think that she's still below these two. So she's only going to be third for right now. And we have Omnimon, the chase alt of the set. And I'm going to level with you. I don't think he looks very good at all. I think that the original version with him, sort of stabbing forward with the sword, that looks so much better than this one. And I also think that the alt version that's currently only in Japanese, and I don't even think has been released in Japan yet, the one from the Tamer's Evolution Cup, or whatever it's called, with like the blue on the sides. I think that looks way better than this. As well as, of course, like I said, the original. So for those reasons, and the fact that it's just like so ridiculously expensive when it just doesn't really even look good, in my opinion, I'm putting it F tier. I think it's one of the worst alts, if not the worst. And then we have one I think will surprise a lot of people, which is Diaboromon is going to go S tier, above Agumon. I think that this card looks incredible. I think that you have to see the card yourself, or see this video that I'm showing you right now, to really just see how good the white circuitry looks. It looks incredible. The art on this card is really just superb. This is an awesome card. And as soon as I saw that Armageddonmon was gonna be playable, I went ahead and got a playset of these, and I don't regret it one bit, because this is just a really beautiful card in my opinion. And Flower Cannon. So, you know, Flower Cannon is a great card, though it's been seeing some tough times recently because its price skyrocketed and then sort of normalized again after a buyout on TCG Player. My original opinion of Flower Cannon was that I hated that it existed, because I thought it was like stealing alt slots from, you know, super rares when it's only a rare. But I sort of came around on it, and I was like, well, I do like being able to get foil versions of that card, and it's a pretty good card. But it's still sort of in that ultra realistic style that I'm not a big fan of, although it's not as hyper realistic as some of the other ones, so that helps it. However, I got the Tamer's Evolution box, and even though we're not ranking those cards here, the Flower Cannon from that is just so beautiful compared to this. Like, they're night and day. Like, this is just like, it's got that sort of problem I mentioned before with the other hyper realistic ones, where the background's sort of muted. It still looks nice, but it doesn't look like anywhere near as good as the Tamer's Evolution alt. And so for that reason, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put it at the top of D tier. Maybe in a world where that card didn't exist, the other alt, I would put it in C tier, but it does exist, so I've gotta knock those points off. So this is a card that I think people aren't going to be surprised by if they know me. This is, spoilers, my favorite alt in the game, period. You know, I'm a sucker for these sort of nostalgia-based cards that have like alt artwork from like previous games and stuff, or older iterations of the game. And so this just really it really speaks to me when I see it, and you compare it to what the original one looks like. I think that this looks just super good, and so it's at the top of the list, and it's probably going to be my favorite for a long time. Maybe the alt Omnimon X Antibody will knock it off. I'll need to actually see it in person myself before I make that decision, but for the foreseeable future, this is probably going to be my absolute favorite alt. And so next we have Vidramon, who I wasn't really big on at first. One, because I don't think it's a great card, and two, because it's just like, whatever. He's just, throwing a punch. I think that, him jumping with the peace sign is actually, cooler artwork. Until I saw it myself, and I saw like how they foiled the golden triangles that were coming off of the punch, and I just really like that sort of style of foil. It's one of the things I loved to see back when I was playing Dragon Ball Super, and so for that reason, I'm putting it in S tier. It is at the bottom because I still like all these other ones better, but I do think that it looks really good, and I think that it's sort of unique for what we're seeing in this game, especially with the ults. And so, lastly, we have Beelzemon. The thumbnail may lead you to believe that I'm just gonna toss him in last place. He's the worst one. But here's what I have to say about him. The original art is just so much better. Like, there's no contest whatsoever. If you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand your taste at all. But this is just like nothing in comparison to the way the foil swirls around his gun in the regular version. And I don't like the super realistic art style, so that doesn't do a lot for me. And I don't think that it looks very good. But with that being said, I do still think it's better than Omnimon because this card's just trash. So it's not the worst one. It's F tier. It's definitely F tier for me. I'd still use it because I use my alts, because I might as well. I paid for them. Might as well use them. But he's not that good looking. So that being said, this is my tier list. Comment below what your thoughts are on the tiers, on my rankings. What did you think I got right? What did you think I got wrong? How would you change it? I'll put a link in the description in case you want to do your own tier list, and if you want, come on over to the server and post your tier list, and we can talk about what your thoughts were. And please make sure to like the video and subscribe so that you can be notified when I put out more content. Our normal posting schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but because of work and stuff, sometimes it ends up being more like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But it's that sort of general time frame, so just keep an eye out. Subscribe, turn on notifications with the bell so that you know when the videos go live. And until next time, this has been Kelvin. Peace.